hook, the German shepherd's bark shattered the somber stillness of Riverside Funeral Home, piercing the night like a siren. Max stood rigid, hackles raised, his muscular frame quivering as he fixed his gaze on Chief Richard Harrison's mahogany coffin. His frantic barks reverberated, drowning out the minister's prayers and the mourner's stifled sobs. "Get that damn dog out of here!" Deputy Chief Parker snapped, his face red with fury. "Show some respect." Detective Michael Carson watched as two officers tried to pull Max away, but the dog broke free, charging the coffin with such force that flowers toppled. Mourners gasped. Sarah Harrison, the chief's widow, covered her trembling mouth. Max's behavior wasn't mere grief. Carson knew the dog from countless crime scenes. This was different. Max wasn't mourning, he was alerting. When Max lunged, tearing at the coffin's silk lining with his teeth, chaos erupted. Carson stepped forward, a chilling realization hitting him. "Wait," he commanded, raising his hand. "Open it. Open the coffin now." In the stunned silence, only Max's growls echoed. What followed would haunt everyone forever. Carson's past, Detective Michael Carson, 46, bore the weathered look of 23 years with Riverside PD, 15 under Chief Harrison's command. His lined face told of laughter and loss, his salt and pepper hair cropped short, his blue eyes sharp. 3 years ago, ovarian cancer took his wife, Emma, leaving him in a too-quiet house. Few knew Carson's bond with Harrison began earlier. At 16, caught breaking into a store, Carson met Officer Harrison, who saw potential in the troubled teen. Instead of jail, Harrison offered dinner, introducing him to Sarah. Over meatloaf, he proposed community service and mentorship. That night redirected Carson's life. "You've got good instincts, son," Harrison later said when Carson made detective. "Trust them even when everyone says you're wrong." Chief Harrison's legacy. Chief Richard Harrison, 58, was Riverside's cornerstone for over 30 years. At 6 feet 2 inches, with broad shoulders and steel gray hair, his presence commanded respect. Known for fairness, his warm wrinkles belied a serious edge. He and Sarah, childless after her miscarriages, mentored countless youths, treating the community as family. Max, their German shepherd, joined them 7 years ago after a warehouse raid explosion killed his handler. Harrison nursed Max through recovery, and when hearing damage ended Max's K-9 career, he became their loyal pet. The funeral home chaos. The call came at 6:42 p.m. Carson, buried in case files, answered to Officer Ramirez's trembling voice. Chief Harrison was dead, a heart attack, found by Sarah. The news stunned Carson. A Harrison, vibrant yesterday, gone? At Riverside Funeral Home, the Victorian building hosted a rushed service. Harrison lay in an open casket, dressed in formal blues. Sarah, ashen, whispered to Carson he was healthy. Michael, his last physical was perfect. Max arrived, dragging his leash holder toward the casket, barking frantically. Parker demanded Max's removal, but Carson sensed the dog's alert was no ordinary distress. Max's warning. Max's barks intensified, his focus locked on the coffin. Carson, holding the leash, recognized the dog's trained alert behavior. "Something's wrong," he murmured. Parker, immaculate but cold, insisted Max was disruptive. Elizabeth Miller, the medical examiner, arrived uninvited, her presence irking Parker. Carson asked if she'd examined Harrison. Parker dismissed the need, citing clear cardiac arrest. Max lunged again, nearly toppling the coffin. Carson, trusting Max's instincts, stayed overnight, defying Parker's orders, with Max restless by his side. The midnight visitor at 12:17 a.m. Max growled, staring into the shadows. A man emerged, claiming to be James Marshall, Harrison's old friend. His cultured voice and anxious glances at the coffin raised Carson's suspicions. A faint thump from the casket sent Max into a frenzy, and Marshall fled. Carson, shaken, couldn't dismiss the sound. By dawn, Sarah arrived, insisting Max stay. As mourners filled the room, Max's barks turned panicked, tearing at the coffin's lining. Carson, resolute, demanded, "Open the casket now." The shocking discovery: the casket opened, revealing Harrison's still form. Miller checked his neck, announcing, "There's a pulse, faint, but there." Chaos ensued. Sarah sobbed in relief. Miller found puncture marks on Harrison's neck and arm, suggesting poisoning, not a heart attack. Paramedics rushed Harrison to the hospital, confirming a faint heartbeat. Carson noticed Parker's pale, panicked expression and ordered the funeral home secured as a crime scene, naming Parker a person of interest as he vanished. Hospital vigil. At Riverside Hospital, Harrison was critical, poisoned with a synthetic compound mimicking death. Carson guarded him, Max refusing to leave. Sarah revealed Harrison's late nights and worries about the drug case. Forensics found a needle tip in the casket, suggesting another dose was planned. Parker's abandoned cruiser and a break-in at Harrison's home, missing drug case files, pointed to a cover-up. Carson learned Parker had leaked information to Kingfisher, a cartel contact, about Operation Clean Sweep. The hospital attack. As night fell, the hospital's power failed. Parker, disguised in scrubs, attacked, wounding a guard. Carson and Max fought him off, but a second figure, Marshall, the midnight visitor, appeared, revealing himself as Kingfisher. Max, injured but defiant, lunged, giving Carson a chance to act. Officers stormed in, led by Ramirez, wounding Kingfisher. Carson took a bullet to the shoulder, collapsing as Max whimpered beside him. Recovery and betrayal. Carson awoke 36 hours later, learning Harrison was stable but critical. Max recovering. Sarah revealed Judge Collins and Mayor Hastings were arrested, tied to the cartel via Harrison's files. Toxicology showed Harrison was poisoned over weeks, likely via coffee. Sarah's sister, Linda, was implicated, paid by Collins, her lover, to poison Harrison. Linda, in custody, claimed she only meant to sicken him, coerced by threats to her son. Harrison's awakening alarms signaled Harrison's heart stopping. Doctors revived him, but a second poisoning, likely by Linda, worsened his condition. An experimental treatment risked neurological damage. In custody, Linda admitted her role, devastated by her betrayal. Carson, refusing dialysis to prioritize Harrison, learned Max faced permanent damage. FBI agent Reynolds arrived, revealing Harrison's year-long covert work against an international cartel. The bigger conspiracy. Reynolds disclosed Harrison uncovered a terrorism financing network. Parker acted when Harrison planned an FBI meeting. A USB drive from Collins' safe showed plans to frame Carson. Reynolds needed Carson's help to catch remaining conspirators. Harrison awoke, lucid, revealing a safety deposit box with evidence against Commissioner Lawrence Wilson, the true mastermind behind Riverside's corruption. Trapping Wilson. Carson and Harrison baited Wilson with a call implying shared secrets. Wilson, unaware Harrison survived, promised to handle Carson. Surveillance caught Wilson's hired assassins at Carson's home, leading to his arrest. The box's evidence, financial records, communications proved Wilson ran the cartel's operations, implicating more officials. Riverside's recovery. Weeks later, Harrison was released, defying odds. Carson's kidney damage was permanent. Max nearly fully recovered. At a ceremony, Harrison honored Carson and Max. Sarah hinted Harrison might retire, recommending Carson as chief to rebuild the department. The trio picnicked in Riverside Park, discussing healing the community's trust. Reflection. In our later years, we cherish loyalty and trust. Max's barks remind us wisdom can come from unexpected places. Harrison's story resonates with those who've faced faltering institutions or personal betrayals, yet believe in resilience. It affirms that what we build, careers, families, communities, endures. True strength lies in rising, surrounded by those who never abandon us. Subscribe, like, and comment with your thoughts.